Okay, so in math, you have heard the word variable. What does it mean in math? What is a variable in math? I know it's early. What's a variable in math? Is it something that's always the same? Keska, you had something? Okay, it symbolizes something that we don't know, but it's also something that, is it always the same? Noah, you were going someplace with that.
It's not the same all the time.
Yeah, it's something that changes. So a variable is something that changes. And that's also what it means in the context of a scientific experiment. Let me write this on the board. Does your textbook give you a definition for variable? It doesn't. What are some of the things, so if we think back to your things yesterday, so who here had swimming and eating and then going swimming immediately and getting cramps? Which group was that? Did somebody have apple? Okay, we all did apple a day. What did you guys have? Reading in dim light. Okay. And what did you guys have, Kevin and Michael?
Coffee stunts child growth.
Coffee stunting growth. What did you guys have? Okay, wet hair and going outside. What did you guys have? Shaving and your hair getting thicker. Okay. In each of those, were there things that could change between your two groups of people?
Mm-hmm.
So you guys had reading in dim light. Head up, please. How bright the light was might change. What they were reading might change. How big the letters were might change. Lots of things could change. Those are all variables. Those are all variables. Now, have you heard somebody say like, oh, there are too many variables? I'm going to give you an example. My husband and I have a long-running, we'll call it disagreement about fuel mileage. I get way better fuel mileage than he does. I had to drive his car for a week recently, and I almost doubled. Do you know what fuel mileage is? What is fuel mileage? Miles per gallon. So how many miles you can go on a gallon of gas. And I almost doubled his fuel mileage in his vehicle. He slams on the gas, and then he brakes hard, he accelerates hard, and I tend to accelerate real slowly. He drives 70 on the freeway, I drive 60. I think he drives like a crazy person. All of those, he turns the air conditioning up higher than I do. All of those things are variables that affect fuel mileage. Okay? They're all things that change from one person to the other that can affect mileage. What are some of the variables in your study? Temperature. Okay, because yours was again? If your hair is wet. Okay, how cold is cold? Is it 20 degrees? Is it a day when it's 4 below? Is it a day when it's 45? Is it a day when it's 15 out? Those are variables. How wet is wet? Does that mean just the ends of your hair are wet? Does it mean you're soaked to the scalp? Those are variables. How long is a person's hair? When I go out with a wet head, I got a lot more wet hair sitting on my head than any of you. Those are all variables. Those are things that change. Okay, so something that changes. Now, let's look at independent variable and dependent variable. On your own. What does it mean if you are independent? You are on your own. Who wants to add to that? What else do we think of when we think you're independent? You do things by yourself. Are you relying on anyone else? No. You're relying on yourself. You are independent. You are standing on your own 2 feet. An independent variable. An independent variable is something that changes, that doesn't depend on other things around it. Okay? An independent variable is a variable that does not depend on other variables in an experiment. Have a wonderful long weekend, and please put the desks back where they were. Please put the books back on the shelf.